Think we're live here. Good evening, everyone. Give folks a second to hop on. Sarah here from the Millennial Summit team, embarking on, what is it, week 3? Feels like week 7 or 8 at this point of social distancing and working from home. It has been a very, a very unique time, and I think we're all feeling that way. But I just wanted to thank you all for joining us tonight. And we have a number of guests tonight, one of which might be my cat. So I apologize if you see a large cat come across the screen. So we've got a number of organizations that I'm really excited to talk to you about. And the first one is actually former neighbors of mine, the guys from WhyFly. So we've got Nick and Mark here tonight. And guys, business as usual has been a little different this week. So tell us, what have you guys been up to during the public health crisis that we're having?
Well, we've been very busy. Obviously, that internet is more important than ever. So it's been a good time for us, kind of keeping the network running. We're about 2.5 times our normal capacity for the last 2 weeks, and every day is a record-setting day. So thank you, Netflix. But it's we're up for the challenge, and obviously one of our biggest things that we realize is how important the internet is. So Netflix aside, now schools and all the important things of our lives are now delivered over the internet. So we're spending a lot of time to make sure that everybody has internet and can get online when they need to get online.
Awesome. So backing up just a little bit, I'm pretty sure everyone knows about WhyFly. I mean, you guys have been, rocking out for years now. So, but just in case anyone has totally missed it, tell us who you are, tell us about WhyFly, why you do what you do.
So we are Wilmington's most awesome internet provider. So we provide internet, no TV, no phone for the most part, just internet. A lot of it's great value. So there's the premise is that it's a single line item on your invoice. It's a single price. There's no other fees. There's no contract. There's no it's just internet, simple, wholesome. And as Nick would say, gluten-free.
Well, we're really just changing the paradigm a bit. We're just treating people right. These are our neighbors. We're all from here, or have moved here and live here now. And it's just it's all about just treating people right. So that's the big difference, right? Our internet, is built a little differently. How it functions and all those kind of things allows us to adapt a lot faster than the traditional way of delivering internet. So from that perspective, when we hit capacity on a connection, we can add more capacity really quickly without having to tear up any roads or, get any permits or anything like that. So we can be very responsive and very hands-on with our customers. So that's really the differentiator. There's no bulletproof glass when you come to the office. You all sit there, you can see us, you can talk to us. You might see us at the grocery store or the bar or the restaurants when we're allowed to go there. Yeah, it's just about treating people right, really, and making sure that everybody has internet or have access.
Well, yeah. When you walk down Market Street, most of those restaurants on Market Street that has WhyFly powered internet, right? So,
all the good ones.
No, that's all the good ones. Well, the ones that I spend time at certainly do have WhyFly internet. So how did you guys realize this week that? Or I guess it's been a couple of weeks. So walk me through the process. You guys obviously provide such an important service, but did anyone reach out to you, or did you guys just kind of say we've got an opportunity to do something really good and give back to the community here? How did your role in this kind of COVID relief come about?
Yeah, we saw it right away. I mean, because we had, one of the things we found, which came upon me accidentally was that when the schools decided to stop, having classes, they said, oh, okay, well, everybody would just get online. And they realized that there were quite a few people that didn't have the ability to get online. And we kind of take that for granted, most of the time, and it's just not there. I mean, one of the reasons I started the company, or as we were starting the company, I was walking down, in front of the library 2 or 3 years ago, and there was a car full of kids in a car there. They were sitting in front of the library and all on their devices, and they were trying to get the wireless signal for the library. And it was a very bad signal, and they were just trying to do their homework. And you realize when you see that, you're very humble, and you realize that there's just a lot of people that that don't have that access that they, and how important it is to have that access, right? So, as soon as the schools kind of said, hey, look, we're moving online, but we have these other kids, and they said, oh, okay, we're going to print this out, and kids are going to come to this, the parents will come get the materials a couple times a week, and then they'll be able to do the printout. So, well, obviously that doesn't work, right? You're already disenfranchised, you're already behind, right? So we just said, let's figure out a way to do something different, right? So it's been a constant push since then.
Well, I mean, it's something that we've been looking at. I mean, Mark had this idea to give kids internet for a long time, like from the beginning of this thing. I mean, we've been, we've been talking with NERDiT Now for a long time, trying to figure out how do we give internet away, right, in the right way. It's a lot harder to give free internet than you'd imagine. But fortunately, the one fortunate thing about this situation is that now everyone's goals are aligned. So we're getting a lot of help, which Mark can talk about, from the state, from and local, state government as well as local government, as well as a lot of the businesses are grouping together to help deliver that option.
That's awesome. Well, I actually want to bring in, we've got Mark Duncan back here. We've got a whole queue of folks, so we're going to bring people on and off. It'll be fun. Hi, Mark. So Mark works at the Community Education Building, and I will let Mark talk for just a minute about, what your last couple of weeks have looked like, and kind of some of the efforts that you've been doing. But I think it's great that we've got such awesome, internet, and we're kind of figuring out how to match up supply and demand here. So Mark, tell me a little bit more about, from your perspective, what the last couple of weeks have looked like.
So I'm the Vice President of Development for the Community Education Building. We are a system of supports for charter schools that happens to have a building for them to reside. And so when schools closed, that shifted us into a whole different gear, because many of our students, I would say about 80% of our students are high need. And so we immediately shifted into making sure that we did everything possible for them to have access to learning at home, which includes device to learn on and also getting them connected to the internet. So we have been working very hard, partnering obviously with folks to get to make that happen for our students. I know Mark Kivas is going to be on, but we immediately contacted the folks at NERDiT Now about getting our hands on some devices for our students. We recently did a fundraising drive to raise about 10 grand to get those devices. I'm pleased to say that as of today, we exceeded our goal after about 6 days of doing this. And most of us are working from a distance, at the CEB, but we're all, every day we're just on the phone or on conversations like this, just talking about what we need to do now. And we're also trying to anticipate what we need to do for our students when this is over, because we don't know if there will be a rest of the school year, but we don't want our students to have to experience a slide at all in learning.
Right.
So how do we address that? And so we're working on that now too.
Right. Charlie, you can bring, Mark and Nick back. Perfect. I know that's so hard to, kind of put that burden on students and their families and other, caregivers to try and maintain that continuity. I know that's really hard, but it's a really noble goal. And I'm glad that there are people out there, like education leaders and service providers who are kind of working to bridge that gap. So for the WhyFly guys, say we're still doing this, say this is still happening, say this, 2 months from now, we're still working from home, learning from home. What's one thing, like, where do you guys see you going? What is either one thing that, like, with a wave of a wand you would like to see or have to be able to help you guys do what you're doing, or one thing that you'd like to be able to build towards?
Well, I think one thing that we're approaching differently is, there's programs out there now for kids, which is currently free, but we'll go back to being paid in a monthly fee towards that. We don't feel that works, right? That's not going to work. People still have tough time even paying that's lower bill at $10 a month, right? We need to offer that for free. We need to have it available so they can get to it if they need it, right? So I think that's the approach that we're trying to take, and that's how we're working with the folks in town and the leaders in town to help make that happen.
Cool. Mark, you have anything else?
Yeah, I mean, it's really important that, because it's an opportunity, to kind of bridge in an accelerated way. We're actually bridging that divide. So when things do get back to normal, that gap has been there before this, current event. And we can have an opportunity to make sure that it's not there after this current event, right? So there has always been that gap, and I want to close that gap permanently, and I don't want it to be a price issue. I think in the short term, kind of where we are, not only are the people that don't have internet right now that need it, and we're working diligently to get that done, it's some of the people that might have financial hardship that might be our customers, might be, customers for, other providers that now can't afford that bill, right? So we're working with customers and making sure that continuity and that continuation of that wholesale access to internet is there. And it's in a lot of things right now, it's more than just kind of the education side of it. It's all, there's a lot of social services that are, only provided online now, right? I know that someone said today that even the unemployment office stopped answering the phone. They're not taking walk-ins to the office. They tell everybody to go online. Well, there's a lot of people that don't have online access, right? So today in our office, I had 2 or 3 people getting online in our office when I was there for a few hours just to try to get some things signed up. So like these are like, major, hurdles in our life right now that are being thrown at us at one time. So, there's an opportunity to kind of make sure that when we bridge this gap and we make this happen, that it stays happening, right? And it doesn't, we don't slip back to kind of where we were to have this disenfranchised ecosystem within our society.
Wow, that's awesome. And, this is something that you guys don't get with the, oh, wow, we're swapping in and out. I just want to quickly plug WhyFly. I'm a proud WhyFly customer, but honestly, this is the kind of care that you don't get from other, redacted large internet company named here. Service providers who are looking out for members of their community, letting people come and sit in on their comfy couches in the office and like figure everything out during tough times. I mean, like, shout out to you guys. You guys are really doing a cool thing. We'll hear from you again in a little bit, but I've got a crew right here. Gosh, the pointing is really hard. I got a crew right here. Marquivas, Jake, and Chris. What is up, guys? How have you been?
What's up? How y'all doing, fellow nerds?
We're doing great. It's good to have these guys in the studio. How you guys doing?
That's great. Hey, are you guys social distancing? Back it up.
I am.
Back it up.
I've got a whole world between us. We're trying to keep it safe and clean, of course. We got the studio all wiped down. We're all, on lockdown, so we're being careful and trying to make sure we're not adding to the problem for sure.
Well, good. Well, so tell us, you guys have been doing so much the last couple of weeks. So tell us a little bit more. We've heard from Mark Duncan at the CEB, and we'll bring him back on in a minute. We heard from the WhyFly guys. What is your piece in this puzzle here? And Marquivas, I know that this is something that you've been really passionate about for a long time, and something that, giving back to the community is always top of mind for you, but there's a moment here, and you guys have really taken the moment and run with it. So tell us a little bit about what your last couple of weeks has looked like.
Cool. So pretty much what you just said, this is something that's been on our mind for the past 5 years when we started the business, closing that technological divide. But right now, in this moment, we could be much more intentional and making sure that instead of doing 100 computers over the year, we can now do that in a week. And it's now magnifying everything that we're trying to do. People are realizing like, oh, technology is actually something that's needed in their homes. So together we got King Creative, Jake and I, like we're making sure we're being intentional, showing the story so that people understand that technology is imperative when you're trying to get things done.
For sure. And Jake and Chris, I know that you guys have been, helping Marquivas out, but like, what are some of your, reactions? I know that you guys have been, raising money, raising some marketing and media attention. Talk about that. I mean, there's so much negativity happening right now, and I feel like this is just, as usual, such a breath of positivity coming from your office, coming from your ambulance, from your office, you guys. So like, talk to us about that. Like, how has that been interacting with people in this way?
It's been crazy. We keep joking about how it's the biggest irony here is that in this crisis, things are the busiest it's ever been. Even reflecting 6 months ago on the way to Shark Tank, it was nuts then, but like, it's the craziest ever. And to be able to provide devices to students who are sitting at home, nonprofit employees, typical organization employees. Those the first two is our focus, but it's been really good. Final thing I'll say about it is that they expect that there could be 20,000 students or employees in Delaware alone who are home who need a device and don't have one. So we're trying to end that device.
Yeah, and that's a big part of what we've been focused on is supporting this mission with the messaging, right? Crafting the content, the imagery, so that we could share the story. The digital divide is a thing that's existed prior to now, but it's that much more important because of everything with COVID-19 and all the kids and the people, the nonprofits being forced to be at home, not having access to the technology now more than ever has really become a problem that has made it urgent in terms of us coming together to fix it. So working with WhyFly and NERDiT Now in terms of bridging that divide on the device side as well as the connectivity in the internet has been my kind of challenge to really craft the message. And we've got a bunch of videos that we've put together and really a lot of photography and social content related pieces that are starting to go out now that you're really going to be seeing more of.
Yeah. So same question to Mark Duncan with CEB. I mean, what has your experience been as, there's a problem and we're really quickly working towards a solution, and you've got awesome guys on the front lines like this who are out there, hustling and raising some good attention. Like, what has it been like for you, if you could talk about that impact, on your students and on your staff?
So and we have obviously with two schools that we partner with, Great Oaks Charter School and Kumba Academy. The three organizations are working very closely together to get all of these resources in the hands of students. That is the most important thing right now that we're focused on. And so, I mean, I've said this in other conversations I've had online and offline. NERDiT Now and partnering with them to make this happen has just been a blessing, and we're thrilled that I shouldn't say we're thrilled about this situation. This is a horrible situation, but in light of all of this, to see so many in the community coming together to solve real problems that have been around for a while. They just happen to be getting a lot more attention now because they're much more prominent in this situation. But I think it's great. But I mean, I'm on the phone with folks from Kumba Academy. I'm on the phone with folks from Great Oaks, getting lists of names and addresses of where we can get these devices delivered to, along with finding out who actually needs to be connected. And it's daunting. It really is. You don't realize how significant this divide is until you're in a situation like this where there's no other option but to be at home, but also have to continue educating children.
Well, you make a really good point, and to your point, none of this is good, right? I mean, something really wonderful has come out of a really bad thing, but I mean, it kind of shows that Delaware's got this capability, and we do a really good job. We're a state of neighbors. We have the Delaware way, forming partnerships where they previously didn't exist. I mean, I think that that's such an awesome thing that, in adversity, we can find opportunity like this. So I'm going to bring on Malcolm and Nudie because I know that the five of you guys have been hanging out this week. So Malcolm, Nudie, tell the good folks, not that you need much of an introduction whatsoever, but tell folks what you guys have been up to this week, how you have been, watching and supporting some of these efforts, and what you'd like to see happen next.
Lab coat.
Home team.
Hello to all of the people out in Facebook land. I think Nudie, it looks like your microphone is on mute. Please unmute your microphone. There you go. Yes. Yeah.
Wow, boomer move from Nudie.
Yeah. So yes, we are Influencers Lab Media, the Lab Coat Boys. New Diddy that runs the city. And me, Malcolm Locks. So we are a full service marketing company. Everything from social media, offline marketing, public relations. Like when it comes to marketing, we the people that you need to see. Relationships, connections, whatnot. That's what we do in a nutshell.
So, Nudie, what have you guys been doing this week?
So this week, we've been doing a lot of social media, reaching out to people, different outlets, influencers, and getting the word out. Like this opportunity is, it's near and dear to us, because we come from a lot of these communities of these underserved teens and students and that nature. So for us, we're just getting back to our roots and doing what we always been doing, and it's just another opportunity to allow us to do just that.
Well, and I feel like, you guys have the real benefit of, you guys are always out, and you guys are always, if there's an event that's happening that people need to be at, you guys are there. You guys are, front and center, talking to people, getting out the message. And so I imagine, even though a lot of us are working from home, I'm sure you guys are out and putting your money where your mouth is, out there volunteering and kind of spreading some good right now. So I am just really excited that all of you guys are taking the time. I know that we do want to pause and give some acknowledgments to some of the awesome community members that help us do what we do. So I'm going to ask each of you, in the last couple of weeks, who is like one person or one organization that you just want to give a shout out for gratitude, either like whether that's a business helping you keep your lights on, whether that's someone who's been helpful in some of this, kind of rapid fire philanthropy that we've been doing. So Mark, we'll start with you, Mark Thompson.
So I think to kind of get this whole thing rolling, we started off. Oh, we moved.
No, you're good. You're good.
Thompson, they're so similar. They sound a lot alike. It's the digital divide. It's only one of the problems we're fixing here, but that's okay. No worries.
No, that's okay. So we'll give WhyFly Mark. Yes.
Yeah, honestly, I think that there's a lot of good things that are happening. I think that I'm really surprised at how everybody's kind of coming together and kind of and companies are social distancing and enabling that and kind of letting things happen. The other kind of thing is I think that there's a lot of resources that are being made available for small businesses and independent contractors. I was very surprised about how that's kind of come together, and things like even things like our initiative, where we get calls every day for people that may not be able to help, but are actually reaching out and seeing what they can do, right? And the number of people who are volunteering to go pick up groceries for other people. There's a lot of good things that are happening now.
Awesome. And Mark, by the way, you've got a nice desk there. Who made your desk?
Mr. Jim Buckley, JKB Designs.
Excellent.
It is one of my, besides my 30-year-old surfboard, it's my favorite possession.
You don't know.
Oh, cool. Okay, Marquivas, we'll go over to you guys, and then I want all you guys to answer.
All right. Boom, starting again. So back 2 weeks ago, we started with a Facebook post telling people not to fear all of this. Of course, we gotta be cautious, but nonetheless, we're not here to live out of fear and keep on pushing forward. And we were able to change a crisis into opportunity when Discover Bank heard us over Amy Walls. Reached out to us and said, hey, you know what? We're going to help you really make this opportunity to close that technological divide with a $75,000 grant that was going to help benefit all nonprofit leadership here in Delaware, which was a big blessing for us right here. And then just being able to reach out to so many different people. We got Chris here at the Influencers Lab. We had Mark over at WhyFly, everybody to come together and say, we're going to make this thing happen together was just a blessing. So it's just shout outs all around the world.
So got to give a big shout out to Jen Walters with Capital One, who's also been great in some support and putting some fuel behind some of these donations. She's a community, affairs manager at Capital One. Everybody knows Jen because she is a board member of lots of nonprofits like Teen Sharp, who I think she was chairwoman of the board, who we donated computers to last fall. She was paramount in helping the warehouse because Capital One donated that building. So we're super happy to have her as one of our newest champions for fueling community projects. So Jen, thank you so much.
Yeah, and just real quick we just kind of skipped through me. I'm just impressed with this group. You've got with WhyFly and Influencers Lab and NERDiT Now, and obviously Dana and Spur Impact and all these groups coming together. I'm just proud to be a part of that to help solve a problem that's happening. So, there's a lot of people in the community that are suffering. There's a lot of people that are affected by this, both personally and as organizations. So, for me, it's just a matter of doing what we can to help. So I'm just, I wanted to shout out everybody that's putting in the good fight, and, hopefully everybody's just being safe, because that's really what matters right now. Except for
sure. Mark Duncan, what about you?
Yeah, I'd like to echo that shout out to Capital One and Jen in particular. We reached out to her immediately and asked if they would be willing to help us raise or get support of raising the dollars for the Chromebooks, and gave us a match of $5,000, which we were able to use to raise another $5,000. And in less than a week, we were able to raise the money that we needed. So a big shout out to Capital One as well.
We love Capital One.
Rockstar.
Absolutely love Capital One. Nudie, anyone that you think has been, going above and beyond this week that you want to give a shout out to?
Wow. Yeah, I definitely want to, I want to tip my hat off to NERDiT Now once again for creating this initiative and bringing us on. It's been a great experience thus far, and like I said, this is what we love doing anyway, is giving back. So for them to give us opportunity, that means the world to us. So my guys at NERDiT Now.
Awesome. Malcolm?
I'm 100% going to completely echo that statement. It's interesting because we have like a little inside thing, and I'm gonna do a little dance for y'all, right? It's called Wu-Tang, right? So, so definitely shout out to Marquivas. He had the vision, and the NERDiT Foundation is, literally executing on the vision that Marquivas has and getting these computers and laptops out to, underserved communities. So shout out to Marquivas, just the whole squad, man. I mean, us, NERDiT Now, King Creative, Spur Impact, WhyFly. I mean, literally, when you talk about businesses or small businesses in Wilmington, we have created a conglomerate of small businesses to execute what it is that we're executing right now. So shout out to the team. There's a whole bunch of people out there that's doing great and amazing things, but when you're included in a conglomerate, listen, you gotta shout out the whole team, because we out here Wu-Tanging as usual. So that's what we're doing. Shout out to the home team.
Wu-Tang. We saw you getting those conglomerates out of your locks earlier. You were putting out some videos on all the platforms too. So
you guys, Malcolm is going to be the next person to be TikTok famous. Malcolm is going to be TikTok famous. You heard it here first. Well, good. Well, I have one final question for all of you. Today is April 1st. It is technically April Fool's Day, although I kind of hope we can just sunset April Fools, because, what a year, right? The whole month. It's also Census Day. Raise your hand if you have completed your census, or someone in your household has completed their census. I see some hands down. Care to explain?
I literally have it on my computer. It's right there. I have to finish it. I did start it, but I am guilty. Done.
Buddy, 5 minutes. It takes 5 minutes.
No, you're not wrong. Anybody that's been in our studio, and partly because of this campaign, we haven't stopped. And so, not that that's a good excuse, but it is at least a worthy cause.
That's true. I mean, the Millennial Summit, we've got this awesome network of local entrepreneurs, local nonprofit leaders, and I guarantee you 5 minutes is actually hard to come up with if you are one of those things. Well, cool. Well, I really appreciate all of you guys for taking the time and for doing all the good work that you're doing. If there's anything that we with the Millennial Summit can be doing, or Spur Impact, obviously, please come reach out. Just want to plug, if you are watching right now and you are not a member, we've got a Facebook group called the Millennial Summit Community. We want you to join that and share what's going on in your life. If you've got opportunities, webinars that you're doing, volunteer opportunities. Malcolm, Nudie, I know you guys have a Facebook group. Do you want to talk about that for a second?
Nudo, you want to do this one, Nudo? Go ahead, bro.
So we currently we created this Facebook group called Camp Corona. So during these times, there's a lot of things going on. So we're giving people updates on how to stay safe, where to get access, different monies if you have a small business, and just a lot of information of how to kind of stay clear and free of this whole situation and bring things to light to kind of help people get through this storm. And so it's called Camp Corona, which is that's our Facebook group.
Awesome. Is that different than the Wilmington Wealth, the Wealth League?
So it's an extension. So the Wealth League, it's the Wealth League, right, Mount, on Facebook. So the Wealth League, this is an extension of the Wealth League where we get guest speakers to come and speak every Wednesday, but we couldn't do it at our co-working space. So we're pretty much taking everything online, and we're doing it via Facebook Live and what's the other one?
Zoom.
Zoom. There we go. How can I forget? Facebook Live and Zoom.
I just watched Saran tonight. It was awesome. Saran and Tam were killing it.
Yeah. It was a lot of great information.
Yeah, for sure. To the marks, anything else?
I'm good.
Okay, shop local for your internet needs. Shop local for your for all your tech repairs. Shop local for your marketing needs. I'm pointing the wrong way again. This is very disconcerting. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time. I will talk to all of you later, and thank you for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
Our pleasure. See you guys.
Peace. Wu-Tang. That was easy. Look at that.
No, I know. Just wanted to be better.
I'm
That's all.
pro.
Want to be good.